All right, welcome, gentlemen, back for episode 3, our reaction to episode 3. And again, no holds bar. If you have anything to say, Nick, or anyone else, by all means say it. It's an open discussion where we can air our grievances and whatnot. But here we go. We'll get it started, and I'll keep the sound down as well, just for the sake of it. But yeah, that one's next week.
I'm dreading that episode.
Yeah, don't look good.
It's double because it's got the fitness as well. So you did very well on that one. So yeah. What episode are you looking forward to the most? Let me guess, the Shank one, Shank Tank.
Yeah, definitely.
Shank Tank and the final challenge. I think will be the two really cool ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to see how everyone went.
Any footage from that car fight. That car fight's gonna be interesting on camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it either, to be honest, but yeah, we'll see it once we get it. Yeah, poor Matt's under the pump. So he's doing his best, but he's working full time. He had COVID. He's got a pregnant wife. So yeah, he's doing his best and he's doing a good job. So I'm not going to put too much pressure on him. That's why we're going to do Monday night. I'll give him the weekend to finalize things and things like that. It should be a bit smoother.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, we got one more.
It's Nick again. There we go.
Oh, he's dropped out.
He dropped out. Now he's back. There he is.
All right, I'm back. It's just cutting out, but did I miss out much?
Yeah, heaps.
No.
Like we're done. We're pretty much done. So.
Damn it.
Yeah. There's a controversy right there, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Controversy galore, my friend.
Come on, guys, speak up. It can't be just me. Come on, Mick, say something.
I don't care.
I don't.
Let's watch it again.
Well, you expect too much from me, I think, Nick.
Oh, well, I rate your opinion sometimes. I like it.
I don't know why.
So that glancing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why do I hear a sound?
Glancing again. Rib shot. Back of the thigh. Running knife along the back.
That does look like a sucking chest wound to me. Possible, there's your tense and pneumothorax straight away there.
A doctor friend of mine reckons he would have survived that, but on the way home on the ambulance, he's dead. True or not true? What do you think?
You can't put a definitive metric on any of that stuff. People survive the weirdest injuries and then die from the strangest oones as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, you see reports of 46 lacerations and stab wounds and survive, and then you see the one kid in Brisbane that lent him twice and gone.
Yeah,
it's kind of a recorded phenomenon that the will to live is a very important factor in that. People in the ambulance saying, "Oh, I'm going to die," often die. But people who are clinging to it mentally, I mean, I don't know how recorded it is objectively, but it's a known thing. It's an observed phenomenon that's an issue. Certainly, when I run a very robust knife management package. Sometimes in the force on force, you just get caught in a completely untenable situation, and you're just getting stabbed a lot, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Bad things happen sometimes.
Yeah.
But what I expect to see people is to not give up, even if they're absolutely impossible. There's no position, they've got no option, just to keep fighting. Then I'll call a halt. Just to secure that mindset that no matter how bad it is, you still fight.
Yeah, still fight.
Yeah,
absolutely,
absolutely. Yep.
Rather than at some point you just go, "Oh well, I've lost now." Well, you're the guy that's going to die then for sure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's an important thing when people talk about mindset. I've always maintained that if you stress aggression as being the mindset you want to have, I think you're missing the deal there. The real mindset wants to be that tenacity where you refuse to quit. Not aggression, but tenacity. That if you want to do some really interesting reading, you look at something called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, which is a part of the brain that kind of, you would call it the willpower muscle, so to speak. It grows in response to people doing things they didn't want to do, horrible things they didn't want to do, and it shrinks when you've got people who are, easily led away, people with bad impulse control, etc. Very interesting reading, anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Anyway, back to you, Jeff.
That's where the combat sports is so beneficial, that
Sure.
just to develop that grit. You're getting not too many people, particularly in the martial arts world, can function once they see their nose splattered across their face. I've seen it time and time again where people just turn to shit. Whereas people in the combat sports world, particularly say boxing, for example, it's a daily occurrence. You wipe it away, continue.
Mitch, you must see this quite a lot with beginners. One thing I notice now is more of a trend where a lot of the combat sports guys to try and get people sparring too soon, in my opinion, because they want to keep them happy, because people expect to do the sparring and they get thrown in there, in my opinion, a little bit too soon. Whereas back in the day, there was a long time before you got in the ring and sparred with anybody.
Yeah, so
and you see how head shy they are, don't you? They're not used to it.
Yeah, and I've had some chats with some really good coaches about this, because we get some people doing their first session of sparring, like the first session ever. They walk into a sparring class. You're like, okay, so first of all, we're going to run you through some really basic technique, and there is nil contact for this first session. And but even for the guys that sign up, they do their trial week, and they come in the next week, and they go, oh, can I jump into sparring? It's like, yeah, man, you can, but there'll be nil contact. And we kind of ease them into it, as opposed to just letting them go whole hog. And I mean, most people have no idea how hard they can actually hit. And it's not like we've got accelerometers or impact readers, on your gloves. So you have no idea how hard you're hitting. And the perception that someone's hitting you hard or going really fast is, often misleading. So then it kind of green lights you to, well, I'm going to respond in kind. But yeah, there's kind of pros and cons that I've found over the years, is that if you get people sparring too early, then exactly say you can get them gun shy a bit and they become a bit hesitant to engage. Whereas if you don't get them sparring, then there's no realism when they're hitting pads or they're hitting heavy bags. Their hands are down. They're not really moving. They're just kind of waiting for the pad holder to make their call. So yeah, I'm still trying to find this lovely, balancing point in between it, because exactly as you say, some people you have to keep happy, but the option to always not have to spar is there. We from day dot, we go, we're not a fight gym. We train fighters, but you don't have to fight. And especially you don't have to spar. But then the $1 million question can be asked, well, are you really boxing? Are you really doing Muay Thai? Are you really doing jiu-jitsu if you're not sparring, if you're not rolling?
Testing.
Yeah, exactly. That testing ground.
Yeah, I mean,
but it has to be done safely in
the mental thing.
Outcome.
I've going back to the whole aggression thing has been the mindset to have. I've long pushed against that, because where people go wrong with it, I think, is they confuse aggression with anger. So they teach people to lose the temper, to have like a tantrum. And you see them when they do their kind of scenario type training there with any kind of pressure, and it just turns into a flail fest, to be honest. You look at them, the lack of control and whatever. And also all the people that they want to emulate, the pro fighters, the special forces, or things like that. If you exhibited that kind of lack of control in any of those disciplines, you'd be out the door. You're done.
Oh, that's straight away.
I mean, for any kind of special operational forces, the most of the selection initially, there's obviously fitness is a big element, but one of the major factors that they're looking for is that tenacity. Are you going to endure this? Are you going to keep going? Are we going to waste a lot of money training you, and you're going to stack it at the end of it? Could we have spent that on somebody else? So they will make it to the point where they want you to quit. So they're going to see how strong you are mentally. And that's not about being aggressive. It's just about having that endurance in your mind, that tenacity, that tenacious mindset.
Yeah, so the two interchangeable terms here is aggression and intent. So having the intent to, there's a huge difference when you're sparring before you do a fight prep or that kind of deal, is to have that intent. And that intent doesn't necessarily mean that you have to injure your partner, but you should be throwing that kick with intent. You should be able to control it, but you should have that intent to go, okay, I'm going to annihilate your leg. I'm going to actually kick you in the head. I'm going to do whatever it is. And then same deal with jiu-jitsu. You have to have that intent to go, I'm going to submit you in 30 seconds.
Yeah, but as soon as you see that kind of snarling, kind of red mist stamping your feet kind of attitude,
that's not intent. As you said, that's anger. That's emotional.
That's fully encouraged, though, in a lot of approaches. Yes, you've got to get to that state. You've got to have this, like a psychotic episode,
Oh, absolutely. No.
But the problem with that is, you lose.
I've been guilty of that, 100%.
Yeah, you lose more than you gain from that, though. To be quite honest, when you look at it objectively,
that's a learned experience, right? So, apologies back to the show.
No, of course. All good. Now, I paused it here for the sake of Nick
good
to have a little discussion about this. I love the bag episode. So, what happened in the first one? So, first time you went through, you kind of were you didn't get intervene until the second one. So, what was going through your head? And I really love the bag one. That was my favorite. I really love that. That was a decent shot that you got him with. But what was your mindset and thought process of going through your first one as opposed to your second one?
I was still shocked from the previous two. My decision making was out the window. All these options was told us. I didn't know what to expect anymore. I couldn't decide anything really at that moment until you spoke to me. You said to me, Nick, there's a woman there. You just said something there, and I realized I come all the way from Adelaide here. I paid this money and time. I got to show what I'm worth. So there was an aha moment there, and I just saw that guy and just went for it. Didn't even make the phone call, and I wish I did it on the first go, but hey, it's a confession, like what Mick says. So yeah.
No, but that bag shot was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad I didn't miss.
You're doing well with your hands this time. That's right. This is your handbag comment. So maybe it matches your hat. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I remember Mick said there. You said, Nick, it's not a handbag. It's a briefcase. All right. So yeah, that's right. Yeah, just took his back there, and that's it. Tried to, even when I got his back there, he was still fidgeting. Yep. Like, it just goes to show, like, you can learn this stuff, conceal the weapon, but even got his back, he's still like, still going. So,
yeah,
it's one thing that a lot of people forget. We talk a lot about all the training we do, but a lot of people forget that the other guy, he's got a plan too. And it'll probably look very similar to yours in that he wants to try and do as much as he can to you as quickly as he can, and he's going to keep going as well. And it's something that you can't ignore. You can't overlook that.
Yeah. Yep.
I just love how casual this looks like. Just, no, I'm out.
Yeah, not dealing with it.
Okay, I guess I'll stab her.
So, we were encouraged to have a second attempt, but
no, you had the option,
but still given the option to forego it and show that we were determined that our first attempt was sufficient.
Yeah.
Oh.
Been stabbed and he's on the run.
Okay, he comes back though. Come back.
This is when he was calling him names here, trying to get his attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fair play, though, that is, to be honest.
Runs him into the car. I just want to point out, MJ kind of deserves to be stabbed with how inept she is at running away. And just sitting there.
So you're saying
it's like what
it was her fault. She was asking for it.
Yeah, her fault. Yeah, her fault. All on her. Like what Mick was saying, he designed it like a video game. They're acting like NPCs.
There's all kinds of factors you could pull in there. You could pull in the freeze response there, people going to that state of hypervigilance, that denial, this can't be happening to me. And, that whole, if I don't move, will he see me kind of thing. That freezing like a rabbit does.
True.
Don't forget, these are
all
people
that hands.
they don't believe fighting is real because they see it on the TV, but it never happens to them. So their frame of reference is nil, to be honest. So there's a lot of people are so easily overwhelmed by it, which is what a mugger will profile, isn't it? A lot of the time, muggers just slam people against the wall, shout at them a lot, and people freeze and give the money over, you know?
Yeah.
They pick people particularly for that, especially for that.
You get 7 minutes to speak, and I got like 3 minutes. This is terrible.
I know, right? It's one time.
And that was a good interview as well. That was a good interview. There was some good things about the Bondi event and all that kind of deal. Edited down, and he got all the airtime. It was rude, Jeff.
I didn't see it, to be honest. Matt's doing it all. So he sends me the copy and then sends it back. So, yeah, it'll come. Like I said, Rubio's going to do another version of it, I believe, afterwards. Cool. And even all these shorts and things like that, I'll put them out there so we can share them and make our own little videos and whatnot of it. And, yeah, I didn't see that interview. I just thought you were concise, and he was talking about a wounded duck wing or something like that. And it was a big story, and, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It all started when I was 5 years old and I saw this duck limping. Yeah.
And you're cutting him to the chase there.
But the what he says, and going back to without being battle tested, the comment that Nathan said that the elbow knee attack would knock out most people or knock down most people. Like, you have to ask, how many times have you done that? And I think it's a very broad statement to say that would take out most people. It's like, dude, I can guarantee you it doesn't.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful with that, to be honest. When like infantry weapons don't always do the job.
Yeah,
elbows and knees might also fail occasionally.
Yeah, it's the same thing as if you do a knife engagement, you're going to get cut. It's like that's not a hard rule. That's a very broad stroke statement, which is not correct.
People absorb, as we see in every combat sport, people absorb shots that you think, nobody. How come the guy's still conscious after that one? People take a lot of damage.
Yeah. Look at Mark Hunt. And Ben's pretty tough. Like, Ben would own up. He'd call it straight away if he got hurt. And that padding's not that great. That's what people don't understand. They think it stops everything. It doesn't. And especially that chest guard that we had, so that knee that he took, it moved him back into the car, but I don't think there was much snap behind it. It was more of a pushing type knee.
Yeah, it was just body
And there was
weight.
a bit of impact on the car, but the window didn't break either.
Shoved into his hip.
Yeah. And Ben's pretty tough.
You guys remember when we briefed each other after? We were like, what did you do, Mick? What did you do? What did you do? Did it all was everyone close to the truth? Because I think we said different stuff. I reckon I did as well, I must admit.
You're always going to get that.
Yeah.
Even now, when you think back, are you actually remembering what happened, or are you remembering what you're remembering?
Remembering what you're remembering, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.